Hey guys, so we are back for this week's episode of Pauper Ponderings. My name is Austin, and this is brought to you by The Manabase, www.themanabase.com. Check them out online. New content every single day, ranging from Pauper to Commander to Altering to Cube. And today, or this week, we've got a bit of a spicy little brew here. The last time we played a Sultai deck, we went 3-0, and I figured I'd run it back. This is more of a blue-black deck rather than a black-green deck. And the deck we're playing today is Sultai Zuberas. So if you're not familiar with Zuberas, they're a common cycle of creatures from the Champions of Kamigawa set. And they all have death rattle triggers if we're going to go Hearthstone. They all, whenever they die, they get an effect equal to the number of other Zuberas that died. So, for instance, if Floating Dream Zubera dies all by itself, you draw a card. If Ashen Skin Zubera dies all by itself, you discard a card, and if Dripping Tongue Zubera dies all by itself, you get to make a 1/1. But if, say, Dripping Tongues dies, then an Ashen Skin Zubera dies, they discard 2 cards, and then if a Floating Dream Zubera dies, they discard 3 cards, or you draw 3 cards. So the whole point of the deck is to try to gain value out of these Zuberas. And how do we do that? Well, we do that with sacrifice outlets. So we have 3 Viscera Seers. You obviously know what this card does. Pretty good card in Modern. Sacrifice to Scry 1. Pretty decent. We also have Peligru Sulka as kind of like our removal spell in the deck. It does cost a black to sacrifice a creature, but it is still very, very powerful. And then we have our Carrion Feeder, which is kind of works as our, win condition in a way, because we're able to make our Carrion Feeder very, very large and kind of start abyssing our opponent, just attacking for 4, 5, 6, 7 a turn. The fact that he's black is good, makes it impervious to a lot of removal spells in the format. Just a good card in general. And we also have Crypt Rats as our other piece of removal. So this is a creature that we can pay X into, and it deals X damage to each creature and each player, and you can only spend black mana on X. So while also being a Wrath, this card can also double as kind of a combo with our Zuberas. So if you have a bunch of Zuberas in play, like one of these, and 2 of these, they're all going to trigger the same amount of times for each other Zubera. So, for instance, if we have 4 Zuberas, they're all going to trigger for 4. So we're going to draw 4 cards, they're going to have to discard 4 cards, and we're going to make 8 1/1s. So that's pretty powerful, and that's kind of the combo we're looking to pull off. Now we have a lot of card advantage engines in the deck. We have Unearth to bring back our Zuberas or our Crypt Rats. We have Undying Evil to combo with the Sacrifice. So if we Undying Evil one of our Zuberas, it's going to come back right away. We're still going to get the draw trigger. It's going to be pretty sweet. And then we just have regular old Muldrifter, because Muldrifter is a great Magic card. And then we have 1 Macabre Waltz, which again is just another way to gain value out of our Zuberas again. So we can discard something like, something useless like a land, because we play, a decent amount of mana sources with our 4 Springleaf Drums, get back 2 of our Zuberas. The fact that these Floating Dream Zuberas are going to draw us cards means that it's very difficult for us to run out of gas, and that's the biggest thing that I like about this deck. When we played that Sultai deck, we had a lot of ways to, get value and draw some cards, but there was times where, you're a green-black deck, and there's not a lot of ways for you to draw cards efficiently. With the Muldrifters and with the Floating Dream Zuberas, we're able to, while enacting our game plan, draw us cards and get us to the late game, so that there are things like Dripping Tongue Zubera and Ashkin Zubera are going to make it so it's very difficult for our opponent to gain any traction against us. So, if we want to go over to the sideboard, so we're playing 3 Duress, which is just a good card in general. We got the white border 7th edition ones, because if we're not stylish, then we're not nothing here on Pauper Ponderings. Another Plague Rusalka, it's going to be really good in certain matchups. So the third one is very important. We have 2 Diabolic Edicts that we play against Boggles. Probably not going to beat them anyways. We have a Snuff Out just as a removal spell. It's nice to be able to bring in some hard removal. We're going to have a lot of swamps in play. We have a Devouring Greed. It's just a card if we go late game. As additional cost to cast Devouring Greed, you can sacrifice any number of spirits. So our Zuberas are going to make a bunch of spirits. Hopefully we just sack them and drain them out. We play 3 Ancient Grudges. Now you look at the main deck, there's no red sources, but with 4 Holdout Settlements and 4 Springleaf Drums, it's actually very easy to make red. And having Ancient Grudges in your deck against the any sort of artifact-based deck or artifact land-based deck, primarily the Jeskai Kuldotha decks and the Boros Kuldotha decks, these really, really are good at crippling them from their mana. We have one Sylvok replica, just as, again, it kind of combos with our Undying Evil and our Unearth, just to be able to remove enchantments and artifacts over and over. We also have two Nile Spellbomb, just as a way to deal with any sort of graveyard decks, any sort of Angler Delver decks we're going to be bringing in against. And then we have this Spider Silk Armor, which is a card that was very difficult to find, but it is very good against decks like Delver. Anything that is going to try to go over you with small creatures, Spider Silk Armor is going to be very, very good, because actually our Zuberas being 1/2s mean they're actually a pretty good size to match up with a lot of Delver's threats. So if we make them 1/3 reach creatures, especially, and then even our Spirits 1/2 reach creatures, that's going to be very, very good at halting the Delver threat. So I'm excited to play some games here, and I'll be back here for round number 1. This is Pauper Ponderings. We're playing Sultai Zuberas. My name is Austin, and you are on the Mana Base.